I wouldn't give a plug nickel for the life of Sam Bankman-Fraud coming up. Absolutely not. If this guy doesn't have Epsteined across his face, nobody does. Nobody does. And nobody's going to talk about that, the reality, because the mainstream media still live under this fraud that Epstein wasn't murdered. They still adhere to this fanciful fraud that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't murdered in federal custody to send messages out to everybody, including now. I was watching last night. In fact, we were doing a live broadcast when it broke, and the most ridiculously stupid coverage from people standing by, going live to our legal correspondent, live downtown Manhattan, live at the federal courthouse, live. And there's some twit who's worried more about hair and makeup than getting down to the brass tacks and explaining specifically what this means. What does it mean? What's the impact? What's going to happen now? And what's behind the scenes? What is he thinking now? What is Sam Bankman-Fraud thinking? What's going through his mind when it hits, when he realizes I've been betrayed by that weird stork-like thing, his girlfriend, his paramour, who gave him up so fast and said, "Screw you, buddy. I'm out of here." Do you know what that does to people? Do you know what happens when betrayal sets in, when you've been living in a world like he has that says, "I've got nothing to worry about. I'm Sam Bankman-Fraud. I've got friends everywhere. Biden, the oaf, the mayoral oaf, Eric Adams. I've got, Tom Brady. They love me. I'm going to get a pardon. I gave those Democratic bastards millions and millions. They better be good to me, or else I'm going to talk. I'm going to squeal. I'm going to rat. I'm going to flip. I can't take this. I can't take federal prison. I don't care where you put me. This club fed bullshit is another story. People think that prisons are, it's easy. Really? Really? This guy ain't Fat Andy Ruggiero. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy has no clue as to what he's talking about. This guy doesn't understand what he's looking at. This is a kid, a child, who has lived freedom almost boundless. He's never had sacrifice. It's been handed to him. And now this guy who puts his name on salt shakers, who bitches like a little bitch when it comes to the fact he doesn't get vegan food, when he's all by himself and they don't take his calls anymore, and Joe Biden goes into double coot overdrive and says, I don't know what's going on. All of the friends, all of the people, and the lawyers want to get paid. And he turns to his lawyers and say, what the hell did you do for me? 4 hours? They deliberated 4 hours? I've seen parking tickets take longer. 4 hours? Bernie Madoff, they took days. Elizabeth Holmes, days. And that was obvious. This guy, they didn't even listen. 4 hours. Screw you, buddy. We're out of here. Done. Finished. We are through. You hear me? It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. He's going to start saying, you better get me out of here. Not to mention, you're going to see other people in the crypto world. Let me explain something to you. It's not that crypto is a problem or Bitcoin or whatever the hell it is. It's these exchanges. It's like the bank. The bank isn't the problem, or the dollar isn't the problem. It's the bank. That's the story. And you've got people right now, billions and billions and billions of dollars in this thing called crypto with exchanges, funding everything from Hamas to Hezbollah to drug transactions to human trafficking. And this weirdo is going to start talking and he's going to start yammering and he's going to say, it wasn't about me. I'm taking the fall for this fakakta nonsense. That's the problem. It's not me. It's not me. I didn't do anything wrong. Now they're basically turning on me. They're turning on me because what they're doing is they realize that this whole thing's been a fraud. If I did this, anybody, how do you know that these exchanges are up to par? Are they insured? Is there any FDIC? And people like Warren Buffett and others who've been saying, we don't like this. Jamie Dimon, they can't control this. It would be great if this guy is allowed to say a little bit, but not too much. And what happens if one day you find him strung up in a cell or whatever? Do you think anybody's going to question him? Let me explain something to you. America doesn't understand. We're so stupid. We can see buildings fall at free fall and think, boy, that doesn't look weird to me. We believe anything. We had Jeffrey Epstein, who had ligature, deep riveted ligature that these little paper cloth strands could not have possibly made. Petechial hemorrhaging, livor mortis, everything, thyroid cartilage shattered and smashed, hyoid bone crushed, anterior to posterior, strangulation, compression, homicide 101. And Bill Barr looked at you and said, homicide? I mean, is it suicide to me? So this guy thinks something can happen? Let me explain something also to you, which nobody ever wants to talk about. But this is how they get you, okay? If you are in the middle of anything even remotely looking like, remotely appearing to be something along the lines of suicide, iffy, they can take you to federal facilities that are almost like hospitals, and they wire you for sound. Any change in temperature, any change, they have telemetry you can't believe. And they're there. They have got you in rooms. I mean, you're in a paper gown. You don't have you've got paper cup. There's nothing. But here's something they never talk about. The black art, the dark art, the evil arts of poisoning. And there's something called suicide on a bun. And you give somebody something over a period of time that contains chemicals which basically break down into items and chemicals that are found in the body later on. Nothing that in any way indicates something weird. Nothing that shows, oh, boy, it's potassium or something. Okay. Was it succinylcholine? I think it breaks down into potassium. I mean, it doesn't. Okay, fine. So you put this guy in this position, and what happens then? Well, lo and behold, after this is provided, after it's given, after it's administered, after this happens, it kind of sort of builds up. And then nothing funny, nothing weird. You don't even know how many of these people there are because there's no untoward. It looks like something natural. They did something a little similar to this to Jack Ruby. Jack Ruby goes into the prison, into whatever, and gets the fastest cancer anybody has ever even seen. So virulent, so rapacious in its movement. You don't think that's possible? Let's go back. His lawyers now say, we're going to do an appeal. You can kiss that goodbye. They'll do a motion for a new trial. They'll do things. We're not even getting to the sentencing yet. Let's see what that looks like. And he's not done. They got other cases coming up. Oh, they're going to burn this guy. They're going to burn him. And when he is ignored, all the people, Joe Biden, Democrats, all of these friends, all of these money, and are we going to go for clawback? Clawback is when a trustee comes along and says, you were the benefit of a fraudulent transfer. You made money in something that was illegal, even though you have nothing to do with the whatever you want to call it. Do you hear what I'm saying? So, Mrs. Sam Bankman-Fraud, give us your money. Tom Brady, did you make any money? Give us your money. Larry David, you. Who else? Who else made money on this? Anybody? Any pension funds? This is what happened with Bernie Madoff. Doesn't matter how you can say, but I don't. It doesn't matter. Fraudulent transfer. Oh, this is, and then the crypto. But these crypto people are so interesting because remember, it's not it's not crypto itself that's a problem. It's how it's anyway. Watch what happens. It took one tweet from this guy from CX or whatever it was to say, I'm not so sure about this. That was it. It was done. Okay. You keep an eye on this. Nobody's going to follow this. I saw some of the most stupid, inane, this is what I've been telling you, cable news stuff. One in particular who says nothing. You know, the crypto world is, most of us don't understand it. It's not the point, numbnuts. You don't have to understand crypto. It's the bank part. You know, this man made a lot of his money in tulip futures. And, you know, I don't really, it doesn't matter. It was reduced to money, right? It was in a bank. That's what we're talking about. I don't care how you got your money. I don't care the underlying dynamics of the industry that, what are you talking about? And what they're doing is because they're focusing on this, they're saying, no, CBS, NBC, ABC, nobody will say, do you know who this guy is? This isn't just some crypto dude. This is somebody who was so connected with the people who were running for re-election. It's not, they're not going to let him walk away with it. You don't understand that. If he starts talking, if they say, look, Sam, do yourself a favor, keep your mouth shut. I'm not keeping my mouth shut. Why? Because he's been living in a world of not privilege, but delusion. I've seen this before. He's different than you and me. He was living in a $300 million, he was on beanbag chairs and having tantric sex or whatever the hell he did. And he's living in La La Land. Nothing bothered him. What he did was it wasn't even complicated. Nothing. And it goes to show you the other derivative things. If he could go this long, this far, and this openly and obviously violating our or most of our senses of obviousness, how is it that he, and this is important, how is it that he is going to somehow be allowed to just languish? He is right. He's 31 years old. 31 years old. And Carolyn Ellison, that thing, she is 29. They don't understand any of this. Do you understand what I'm saying? They can't conceive of this. These are children. Now, we live in a world right now that still doesn't even understand what's happening regarding Israel. Still don't understand that. You've got, let me back up a little bit. Understand something here. This is very, very important. Can't say it enough. Let me see if I can explain this. There are people here who don't understand reality. We live in a world that doesn't handle reality. You are not given the word. We live in a world, in a country where people are stupid, uneducated, incurious, unimaginative, unlearned, unable to investigate beneath that which is provided. We are still wondering what Israel is about. We are still asking people to explain the interstices, I should say, about that. We are a stupid country. We don't know anything. We're fat, happy, bloated, clueless on our machines with our tattoos and we don't know anything. Let me explain this again to you. We don't know anything. And what I have given to you so far in 16 minutes and 50 seconds, I promise you, is 1,000 times more complicated and troubling than any of the jadruls, chooches, and fools on conventional media platforms. It's not. It's what does this mean next? Nothing. I don't understand this. I have friends of mine. This is the most important thing in the world. I've had friends of mine who have had pretty catastrophic or seemingly catastrophic medical events or incidents that come over them, right? None. They serious stuff. And in 5 minutes, in just a cursory kind of understanding. There's one in particular I know where there's the anatomy of, you have to know kind of the anatomy of what we're talking about here. In 5 minutes, doing cursory, and I'm not even an expertise level yet. I'm not a doctor, but I came up with 5 questions. 1, what is this figure? Number 2, what portion of this anatomical system are we talking about was affected? Number 3, boom, 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 boom. These are the 4 categories, because this will indicate surgery versus what. This person that I spoke to who has this condition didn't know, didn't think, was incurious to investigate the bases of her own condition. So if she doesn't think enough to say, I'm going to learn about, arterial stenosis or whatever the hell it is, if she's not going to worry about that, do you think anybody's going to understand the ramifications of what this means? Do you think this is just about Samuel Bankman-Fraud? Do you think that's what it is? Absolutely not. It's bigger. It's bigger. It's about other things. And watch what happens. I'm telling you. How do you go before court and say, I want him to be watched? Why? Well, because, are you suggesting some harm may come to him? Yes. Daniel Nathan Leland says a student at Dalton was reprimanded by his teacher for not paying attention. He responded, I just made more money in crypto on my phone than you make in a year. These snot-nosed kids take risks. Thank you, Daniel. It is true. There is this, but also there is a sense of not only this exclusivity among kids, but among people by virtue of their sexuality or by virtue of their whatever it. I don't understand it. Let me explain to you one thing about changing the subject just a little bit. Again, it's the perspective of this. Do you know what it means for Bankman-Fried to have a jury verdict in 4 hours? Do you know what that is? Jesus. They didn't even 4 hours. I said, oh my God. Now that either is some serious concern for a they didn't understand, weren't paying attention, or the overwhelming seismic guilt of this twit. Either way, there's something that is different here. Let me change a little bit, going back to this Israel business, okay? The media are saying to anti-Semites, and by the way, when you say, hey, Jew, that's anti-Semitic, not, hey, Israeli fan, hey, Israeli Likud Netanyahu acolyte. No, this is a different story. This is a different story. This is a different story. This is something that if it were somebody espousing, or as my friend says, espousing something along the lines of that versus, oh, I don't know what it is. Maybe something like, what's the word? Maybe something involves something that would be more hateful, something that was indicative of some hate. You know what I mean? Some hate speech about gays or whatever. That would have been, oh, forget it. That would have been a completely different thing, a completely different story. There would have been they would have gone crazy. There would have been hate prosecutions. There would have been police taking pictures, and how dare you? Somebody tore down a BLM sign or a gay flag, but you can stomp on an Israeli flag and yell Jew, and oh well, that's a different story, because it's not the double standard, it's a triple standard, it's a quadruple standard. Anybody talking about that? No. And because people ask themselves, well, is this something that I am not positive about anything. Somebody said one time to me, we like you. You give us hope. Hope? Hope for what? What does that mean, hope? Hope? You want La La Land? Is that what you want? Well, yeah. We don't want the truth. We want to be happy. This is what people tell me. I know I'm being a bit cruel, but it's true. People just want to be happy. They don't want to be told these things. We live in a world where we hate to hear anything that's either complicated or deep or not necessarily obvious to the point of being blatantly obvious. We are our own problem. We are dealing with stories and issues and complex levels of discussion that we are intellectually, spiritually, educationally, and intellectually and cognitively and spiritually unable to understand. This Bankman-Fried thing, let me explain something to you. It's nobody's going to care about it. This is potentially one of the most interesting subjects there is. You're not going to hear any of these clowns on Fox News with idiots who can't speak English. I am saying this again. When you have somebody on national television speaking incorrect tenses, and God forbid, and you know it's true, if somebody is ethnic or racially different, you can't say anything because you will be saying, you're saying that because he's black or Asian or whatever. No, it's wrong. We make excuses for some people and no excuses for others. We are doomed. This is what? 7, 7, what's this, the 28th day, I guess? I don't know, of this Israel thing. Tell me, do you know what's happening? Do you know what's happening with Israel? Tell me, do you? Do you know where this is going? Yes or no? No. Do you know what's happening? No. Do you know what this means? No. Do you know the geopolitical implications? No. Promise you. Promise you. Promise you. What are you being told? You're being told you're having the same story. You're having Dennis Prager or Ben Shapiro talking about the history of anti-Semitism. It's like, we're beyond that. We don't care about that. That's not the issue. These are morons. These are people who speak to you like your children. We fancy, there's some stuff on YouTube and platforms that are pretty brilliant stuff. Lex Friedman and Joe Rogan, to his credit. And I love I love these folks who are these camouflage. Tucker Carlson's going to meet with Julian Assange. So what? Julian, it's over. That's it. Nothing's going to happen. He's lost his juice. Tucker Carlson's lost his juice. Doesn't mean anything. If Joe Rogan did it, that's a different story. I think Bill Maher's got more influence, believe it or not, than Tucker Carlson. Tucker's too late, too gone, too long. Tucker's in his own world. He thinks he's bigger. It's like Bobby Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy's not interested in this. He doesn't have the fire. Not at all. Not at all. And I'm having my doubts about Trump. You see, let me explain something to you. There are people that you've got to understand. You've got to grasp who really makes who are important right now. And when I say things to people, they because they don't either agree or don't like it, whatever. Right now, one of the most important person, if she ever gets political, Taylor Swift is the biggest thing, Beatles level big. Beatles. And how about that new song from the Beatles? What a piece of crap that is. What is this? I'm so tired of this Beatles hagiography. Paul McCartney hasn't said anything. I don't know. Would you shut up? Would you just go away? We've said everything. I know how you got Let It Be, scrambled egg. Okay. I'm so sick of this Beatles. Jeez, let it go. It's almost like a cult. It's weird. It was important. The music now is better than anything anybody's ever seen. You know why? There's more of it. There is more of it on levels. Oh, the only good thing to be happy about is there is music in the world that is so big and so great and so bold and so grand and so perfect. It is beauteous. Beauteous, I say. Beauteous. It is incredible. We are a society that is bereft of everything. We fool ourselves into thinking that we are religious. We fool ourselves into thinking that we're Christian. We don't. We have a titular reference, a titular kind of a synthetic, unidimensional, synthetic thin reference to Jesus in the Bible. We don't care about Jesus in the Bible. We don't follow any kind of Christian edict. We talk a good game. We don't care about that. We don't know. There are pockets of us. And the people, I am convinced the people who are spiritually and actually more on my page, they're foreign, they're European, or I don't want to go there, but they're 100% on the mark because they live differently. When you live in a continent where you can drive 2 hours and need a new passport with a new language and a new culture and a new history, that changes your perspective. We don't have that here. No, we live in a world, I live in a culture where bath soaps are locked up at a CVS, okay? Where bath liquid soap is under lock and key. That's my world. How do you like that? That's where I live. That's where I live. You got it? You got what's happening here? And we talk about stuff that's just, we don't get it. But you got to know where to look. It's here, but it's not in this country. It's not here. I guarantee you. It's not here. If you want to hear anybody, still one of the best sources is Colonel McGregor. Oh, I told you that story, right? I said, I really would like to have Colonel McGregor on my show. Well, he's busy. See, yeah, it's kind of idea. Well, he's kind of booked right now, so we're not taking any new interviews. I'm reading into this. I'm breaking every hearsay rule there is. But I'm thinking, I'm not exactly chopped liver, and I'm watching this on some show, whatever. Like, Jesus. But notwithstanding that, he's great. Great. Daniel Nathan Leland says, any Hasid who has lived in a city for a time knows about this. My neighbor's kids have had the payas pulled and their faces slapped if they walk alone. They wear baseball caps now rather than yarmulkes or kippas. Absolutely horrible. Thank you for that. What you do to the least of my brethren, you do unto me. If you do this to black kids, white kids, gay kids, Asian kids, trans kids, you do that to me. I hate bullying. I'm getting real draconian now. There are facets of my views on law enforcement that are mirroring fascism. I am brutal. I am into the toying with the notion of public flogging or something, because there are people in this world who are demented. And we live in a world that focuses and compounds the problem by highlighting it. We have these redneck, low-life, trailer trash, inbred, homozygotic mutants who are on airplanes who go crazy if somebody's seat goes back or somebody kicks it, and they will lose their mind. Normally a woman who is protected by some schmuck husband or boyfriend, like that idiot who screamed at these two German gentlemen who were speaking German, and she says, get out of my country because you're a drunk lout. Now, I think she has the right to say what she wants, but her company also has the right to fire her. Because she is now associated with being this boorish, anti-Teutonic lout. Okay, you got that? You got how that works? Very simple. Very simple. I hate my species. Hate it. Mankind is the biggest con ever. Dogs. I like dogs. I don't know if I want to get a dog, but I love what they are because they lick themselves. They lick themselves. Remember the old joke? Why does a dog lick his balls? Because he can. No, because he can't make a little fist with his paw. That's the old joke. See, that's the twist. The joke most men know of, because when you're a man in this country, there's certain jokes you know. You have to know them. And it connects you with this. And what I like is the joke that switches it. It says, no, it's not that answer. It's this answer. But that notwithstanding, dogs don't kill each other unless they're prompted to. Dogs are loving. Dogs can look at you because they have a sclera. They have a white part of their eye because they can watch the way you're looking. They can see this, and you can look at them as well. Ravens, corvids do that. They can watch. They watch your eyes. Monkeys don't do that. Interestingly enough, apes, they don't. You can point to something, and a dog will say, oh, that? Ape won't do that. Chimps won't do it. They don't know what you're doing. They're saying, why does he keep showing me his finger? They have no idea. Humans are boorish, selfish, fat, stupid. And let me explain something to you, fat. We live in a world right now where we are destroying ourselves physically, chemically, psychically, spiritually, and we're doing it physically. There are people walking around right now who, for the first time, are 100 pounds. The number of people 100 pounds overweight is like off the charts. That's self-abuse. You're telling me you just don't care. 100 pounds? 100 pounds? You don't care. You don't. This isn't the same thing as, well, it's like alcoholism. No, it's not. No. You're telling me you don't care. You're going to kill yourself. You don't even care. I would lock myself in 100 pounds and it's like nothing. I told you not too long ago, we went to a wedding and I looked at the bridesmaids. I thought, geez, it looks like the fearsome foursomes, like Bronco Nagurski, Dick Butkus, Deacon Jones. What is it? But they were at least muscular. This is and covered in tattoos and slobs, lumbering sloths. We don't, and can't speak and can't write and can't think and haven't read a book. We are doomed. Doomed, I say to you, as a society. Doomed. We don't understand anything. And yet, we love to have our idiosyncratic delusions mollified and kind of a there, it's okay. We are closer now to a nuclear war than ever. And let me explain something to you. And I want you to listen to me carefully. All right? I want you to listen to me carefully. If you say that Hamas is crazy, that they're awful, they're savage, they are not human. Okay. We dropped 2 atom bombs on 2 cities and liquefied, atomized men, women, children, old, young, twice, primarily to show the Russians, I don't care what anybody says, that was unnecessary. So don't give me this business about, well, they're crazy. Oh, yeah? Relative to whom? You people don't understand this. And by the way, I despise war. I just told you, We should not have dropped atom bombs. This was my country. I'm telling you, we didn't need to do this. It was horrible. It was a sin. It was a sin. But we celebrated. We've got the plane in the museum. We've got the Enola Gay. There's Tibbets. And yet we say Hamas, oh, they're crazy. Let me tell you something. October the 7th, people have forgotten that already. I got news for you. They've forgotten it. And already you can see a lot of IDF and other folks trying to fortify their social media plans or platforms by saying, don't forget that. Don't forget that. Okay, but let me tell you something. It's over. People have forgotten that. We have the attention span of a gnat. Oh, it's bad coming up. You have no idea. And they're coming here. So move over SBF for a moment. Let me leave you with this. They're coming here. Whether it's Hezbollah, whether it's going to be some militia, it's happening. They are here, ready to get that call, ready to get the code, ready to give one for the Gipper. I promise you. I promise you. And even then, the vast majority of Americans will be still looking at their TikTok or looking at their Instagram or looking at taking their pictures because we are demented. We used to use the word retarded, and I think out of convention we've decided we're not going to use that word. Okay, fine. All right, I dig. I'm all for kind of kind of a reassessment of language, but this is another story. We are doomed, my friend. Doomed. Do you hear what I'm saying? Doomed. This isn't ha news. Oh, this is dire. This is dire, and it's going to get worse. Because nobody will address it. Nobody. They want to talk around it because it makes them upset. They're going to go like this and trigger warnings. And you'll see, my friends. Follow me here. I'm asking you right now. This is the most important thing I say to you right now. Listen to me carefully. Also, if you want to hear some good stuff, you go to lionelmedia.com. That's my private channel. Everything's going to be paywall. You know that, right? Everything. Twitter's going to be. Everything is. Everything. And anything that you get that's free is watered down. You watch what happens, okay? I want to thank you also for subscribing. Also, February the 3rd, Cutting Room, New York City. I'm there. I promise you, I might not be better, whatever that means, but Chappelle, Bill Burr, Amy Schumer, nobody does what I do. Nobody, because they're telling you jokes. Jokes they've worked on. Jokes they are saying, I'm going to say this joke 25 minutes into it. What is that? What is that, a play? I don't do that. You and I talk. The show is about what's happening then, now, us. There's some subjects we talk about, but I don't know what's going to happen like I do now. I have kind of an idea, but it depends on the mood. It's different. So just remember that, February the 3rd. I also thank you for your contributions. By the way, people have said, if I don't want to do a super chat and I want to reward you handsomely for your selfless dedication to the proliferation and promulgation of the truth, in the description section, we've got everything from PayPal to Venmo to Buy Me a Coffee to Patreon to locals to you name it. If it's there, it's there. Don't forget our dear friends, My Patriot Supply, preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com, and our friend Mike Lindell at My Pillow. That son of a bitch is still going strong. And we're going to support him, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. You understand this? And again, thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for just listening to this. I want you to say one thing. I want you to say, promise me. If somebody says, who is that guy you listen to? Who is that? Who is it? I want you to say, there is nobody. Not that it's good, not that I don't care. Good, bad, I'll let other people decide. But there's nobody who does it my way. Nobody who says my message, my way, my subject matter, my take, my perspective, my style, my panache, my whatever. That's simple. That's all I want you to tell them. Nobody. I will not be replicated. I will not be duplicated. And that's why people hate me and always have. They cannot stand this, especially anybody on cable news, because the first thing out of my mouth is that cable news sucks. You've got idiots. Idiots. Okay. Have a great day. It's nippy as 46 degrees in New York City. That's pretty good. And we love you. We thank you. Keep fighting the fight. Don't give up hope. Don't back down. Don't back down. But like John Maynard Keynes said, when the facts change, you change your opinion. All right, dear friends. Talk to you soon. Oh, and please follow. Right now, I'm going to do this. I got to ask you a very, very important question. I want you to follow Mrs. L. She is doing the best work you have ever seen, period, on her YouTube channel. Oh, there we go. And I want you to follow her right here. All right, immediately. No, that's not it. Wait. Don't go anywhere. That's not it either. Hang on a minute. There we go. No, here we go. Right here. This is her link. In fact, if you go right here, just click on it. It'll take you right to the subscription page right there. Just go there right now. Do me a favor. Subs. So help me God. Every time she'll get a subscription, it's like they're doing it on purpose. They don't want certain messages to become, dare I say, popular. But if you're mindless. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. See you tonight at 7 p.m. Until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.